All right, folks, it's the 10-minute time limit brought to you by FDS Podcast Network on FDS Podcast Network. I'm your host, Andy Jardy, and with me, as always, Jamie Small. Jamie, what's up, man?
Oh, not much, brother. Just hanging out, watching wrestling as always.
Exactly. Well, we're doing some quarantine catch up here. COVID-19 isn't allowing for a lot of new wrestling for us to watch other than the AEW, so we decided we're going to tackle MLW Fusion. We're going to go back. We started right at number one, so this is our quick little show that we're going to recap. As always, this is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. We're going to try to get through a quick review here. Let's rock and roll. MLW Fusion Episode 1, there were 3 matches. It opened up with ACH facing off against Austin Aries. Austin Aries ends up taking that one in a pretty good match, a long match, the longest one of the card, or tied for at least.
Yeah.
You know, there was a Jimmy Havoc promo, so they were kind of getting everybody introduced to Jimmy Havoc, and he was letting people know that there's gonna be pain when he's around.
There will be blood.
There will be blood for sure. Then we got to see a absolute squash match. Barrington Hughes, I think Caramel Colossus. So what it is.
It is.
Yeah. Now the match. I mean, we didn't even catch the name of the guy that jobbed for him and basically took the one move finish. I mean, this thing was over very quickly. Barrington Hughes does some form of rock bottom. I don't know what he calls it. And then the main event was brother versus brother, Rey Fenix versus Pentagon Jr. In a pretty interesting match, I would say. So, and in the end, Pentagon Jr. ends up taking it, though they get together in the ring afterwards and celebrate a little bit. And that's how the show closes. So, Jamie, what was your favorite match of the show? What was your favorite moment of the show?
My favorite match of the show was the main event. It was Rey Fenix versus Pentagon Jr. I liked the pacing of this match. They had a good flow. They built up to the flippy stuff. They didn't just come right out and just do a bunch of high-flying maneuvers and wow the crowd. They actually had some psychology going on in this, where they beat each other, wore each other down, and then finally got into their moves that they are known for: the flips off the ropes, the double spring, corkscrew, whatever. They do all those kinds of things and got into the match. My favorite move of the night that I saw was Pentagon Jr. doing the power bomb into a backbreaker on a knee, basically.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I've never seen that before. That was pretty neat.
Me either.
And what I liked about all 3 matches was they hit their finisher one time and it was done. There was no need to repeat it, no need to question it. All of them ended the right way.
Yep. Fair enough. I'd say my favorite match, or actually, so your favorite moment was the power bomb. I agree. Power bomb onto a knee. What an interesting one to pull off, and not hurt your opponent. I was very impressed with it as well. My favorite match was actually the first match, ACH versus Austin Aries. It was there was a better story unfolding in the ring, I guess, so to speak. ACH had bruised ribs or cracked ribs, and he had it all taped up from the beginning, and so that became sort of the story of the match, kind of. He did an okay job selling it. We commented here and there about how incredibly pain-free he looked when he was pulling off some of his high-flying maneuvers, but he would usually go back to selling it. So I liked the way that match unfolded a little better. That's a little bit more my style, so I'd say that was my favorite match. My favorite moment of the evening was actually the Barrington Hughes. I had never seen this guy before, so I was pretty speechless when he came out. And I see the attire, I see the size of this guy. They're saying he's deceptively quick. I'm getting my mind is racing, going, what are we going to see from this guy? Right before the match starts, I'm like, hey, did you catch the name of the guy who's about to get squashed here? Neither one of us did, and it was a one-move match. So,
and just to give everybody a kind of an idea of what this guy is, he was 462 pounds.
Yeah.
Of Caramel Colossus creation of just just goodness. It was just great, and he wore neon pink.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He kind of
attire.
wears like the double strap, short kind of attire, and it was pink with green and white stripes. He had a great pair
Yeah,
of sunglasses that he wore. And yeah, it was just there was a lot to take in there. I didn't know what to expect. I was very, very sure it was going to be a squash, and was it ever a squash? So that would have been my favorite. Just a quick comment on the final match of the night. You're right. There was only one finisher, and they went home. But in the main event, like Pentagon Jr., I found him and Phoenix. They landed a lot of finisher worthy maneuvers in this. There was a lot of kicking out. There was a lot of incredibly high impact stuff going on. Just less of a
right.
story. It reminded me a lot of an AEW match. It really did. So when you're me and you have no idea what the actual finisher is, you're thinking, well, that must be the finish. Well, that must be the finish. Well, that must be the finish. And then they just keep kicking out of everything. There were some
Yeah,
moves that took place in that looked more impressive and more painful than the finish actually did, including that power bomb backbreaker that you
yeah.
mentioned. So that was my
And
only.
I knew that his finishing move was the fear factor.
Okay.
The I don't even know how to describe it. It basically ends up being a Michinoku driver into a pinfall.
Yeah.
It looks really cool, and it looks like it hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the things they did tonight, the chops seemed to be the most painful thing that anybody took. They were loud. They were
Yes.
loud.
Actually, you know what? You just reminded me of potentially my second favorite moment. What might be tied for first is when Pentagon Jr. The crowd was calling for one more chop for the third time. He decided to give it to them, but before he did it, he took the trucker cap off of one of the fans and put the hat on, and proceeded
Yeah.
to smack the post really hard and hurt his hand. That was pretty awesome. We were hoping he'd keep that hat on the entire time. He didn't though. So.
And it wasn't just fake hit the post. You could hear the tong
Oh
on
yeah,
the post.
he hit it hard.
Yeah.
He hit it hard. So, all in all, look, I saw a little bit of MLW already before we made the decision to go back to the beginning. So I understand the quality of the production that they have going. More recently, and the wrestlers and the way they flow and go through a show. And the promo work and everything like that. So I was actually expecting, I knew this was the first show, so I wasn't expecting it to be quite as polished. However, I do have a standard to hold this up to and something to compare it to. So for my grade on ML Fusion show number 1, I'll give it a solid 5.5 out of 10.
I am at the 6.25 range. I thought the wrestling was good. I thought the in-ring product was good. There wasn't much to complain about. There wasn't 100 pointless, interviews out back. There wasn't any interference. It was just straight good wrestling. The crowd was into it. Very intimate crowd. Became part of the show at sometimes because they got suplexed on. But other than that, yeah, that was my 6.25 is what I'd give that show. I thought it was pretty solid.
I think that's fair. All right, well, episode 2 we'll get to soon, and it sounds like we're gonna actually see the heavyweight champ in that next one. So
That's right, Shane Swerve Strickland. You're gonna see him in that. Yes.
there we go. So we'll see how this show evolves over time, and it'll be fun. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching this on YouTube. Please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, anything. It would help. We want to hear from you. You can hit dislike too. That's fine. We like that. So, all right.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Catch
Yeah.
you later.
Thank you.